What is going on, YouTube? It's your guy, Rusty Tides, and today we're back with some Stardew Valley. Let's have some relaxed gameplay, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, let's collect some more wood. I should also go down and collect more hardwood. If I want to get the horse pen going. Collect that. What does it take to make the mushroom? Where's it at? 10 hardwood and 10 moss. I just need 1,000,000 hardwood. That's the point I'm at now. From what I could tell, I just need 1,000,000. I live in the Pacific Northwest now. I live in Washington State, but I was born and raised down in Arizona. Yeah, I like living in Washington. It is a very beautiful state, um, with all the trees and everything. So it's very different from growing up in Arizona and the weather I had in Arizona. I would like say what for yourself? In the easy mode? Well, what's the hard mode? I didn't know there were different modes for Stardew. And if there were, then yeah, you know, I would select an easier mode, just for the fact of, you know, I'm here to have a good time. You know, it's one of my first times back in a long time. You know, I'm not here to min-max everything. Put that away. Nope, wood comes out. Oh, for real life, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, ultimately my life isn't too bad. You know, it could definitely be a lot worse. You know, it could be a lot better. You know, I could have been born into a family of millionaires, but it could have been a lot worse. we work 3 man in our family. We can't buy a car. That's in Turkey. Yeah, it's definitely a lot worse in a lot of other places. I'm not denying that. Um, I will say, that the U.S. does have quite a bit of opportunities, but it also has quite a bit of its fair share of poverty. I'm not saying everything is great in the U.S. People do have their own issues, their own situations that they are going through, but it's everyone has their own struggles. If we were all born as millionaires, then hey, Kent, don't ship bombs in the mail. But if we were all born as millionaires, then nobody would be millionaires. An enchanted staff of phenomenal power. Sure, I'll bring you an iridium bar. Yeah, each day we just keep waking up, putting our boots on, one shoe at a time, and doing the best we can. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a little privileged to be able, to actually stream and do this. I just need one of you. You can go in there. I am very privileged to be able to have a computer that can stream, to be able to play games and all that kind of stuff. You as well? But I also, I see the other side of it where at the end of the day, I'm here just to make entertainment for anyone who wants to come in and watch. If I do an entire stream with, nobody's here, nobody's watching, it is what it is. But every now and then, somebody does come in, somebody does chat. I get to talk with somebody from Turkey. I find that pretty cool. Did I grab all the... Yeah. Yeah. Turkey's not like India. Well, I know that. I mean, in India, they have, sometimes... I will say, with where I live in Washington State, I do think it's very congested, but at least it's not India congested. Just the amount of people, the roads that get packed and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's their fault. Yeah. I'm not saying it's their fault, you know? Just like I said earlier, we're all just, but I don't wanna say a victim. You know, we're all just doing the best we can with what we were given in life, and they were born there, you know? It's not their fault that, you know, the amount of people that live there and all that kind of stuff, but they're just trying to make do. Yeah. Yeah, England did a lot of, stuff that they shouldn't have. Alright, let's put you away. Because all of these should be ready, tomorrow, so I need to get Siege ready to replace them. One, two, three, four, five. That's actually quite a bit. I I wouldn't say I'm too knowledgeable. I My education growing up wasn't the best. I grew up in the Arizona education system, public school, and at the time when I went through, I think Arizona was 48 in the country in terms of ranking for education. It's just I've learned a lot since I've graduated, you know. Like geography is not one of my best subjects. I suck at geography, but I know major countries, I know major history points, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you ask me specifics, I won't be able to tell you, but I know general. I fully recognize that I I used to be good at math. Um, when I was in school, you know, I had to do it every day. I was pretty good, but then I left school and haven't had to do that kind of math for the last 10 years. So, but yeah, I do not praise me with my understanding and that kind of stuff. I am still just a product of the American education system. I'm gonna keep whatever that is for now, and I'll see how much I need tomorrow. I'm gonna go see if I can pick up the auto auto grabber. Is that what it's called? I will say that when I was in school, I was a lot better at algebra than I was at auto grabber. Oh my goodness. I was a lot better at algebra than I was at trigonometry and geometry. You know, because it just felt to me like, you know, you get to trigonometry and geometry, all it is equations. You just have to memorize equations, and I wasn't the best at that. But um, algebra, all it is solving for y. I think that's why I was better at algebra than I was at trigonometry. 4 iridium milk. That's lucky. It took us G. I could promise you I will fail it. I can give it a try, but it's only going to show my ignorance. You know, I am not that great with geometry. It's really hard geo in Turkey. Really. Even if it was easy, there's a good chance I would fail it. Oh, geez. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to make it in time. Yeah, like I'm not the best at algebra, but I'm better at algebra than I am geometry. You know, I understand, you know, like a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I understand that, and I could follow that, but then you get to, you know, like here's a circle, and the radius of the circle is 23. Now you need to find the sine or cosine. That's just where I start getting confused and completely lost. Can you stop beating on my house now? Actually, 1 stone per. How many stone do I have? What did you give me? All right, let's see how this goes. Mathematics allows people to see many more solutions to life problems and develops the brain. Yeah, you know, I can understand solving, like, because all algebra is you solve an equation where you need to find one solution. That's basic math, you know? You have two of something and you have two of something. Well, what happens if you put those two somethings together? You know, you have four. You're just solving for a mystery. That's what algebra is. Hey, what's y? If you have this, and if you have, you know, 7 times y equals 21, what's y? You know, you're changing what you don't know. So it helps with life. But geometry, it's just a massive confusion of nobody understands anything, in my opinion. You go through these quick. Let's do 150, and then I'm leaving this space open for now because I don't know if I'm going to put anything there. That leaves perfect space for that. I like to show you a Turkish math problem, but my English is not that good. That's fine. I'm from America, and my English is not that good. Mainly because of my speech impediment, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know where I'm going to connect. Probably just do this. Another silo. Kurdish? I don't think I've ever heard that language. Is it just like a dialect thing? And then I'm probably going to have a double gate here. Iron bar and a battery pack. I think I have a bunch of those. You're a nation that has lived with the Turks for 1,000 years. That's why I don't know. Yeah, sad to say there's a lot of that happens in the world. Like you have a very small country that's right next to a very large country, and they go, oh well, oh, actually they've been a part of us for 1,000 years. They're actually us. Let's put you there. Let's come up here. That away. Fair enough. I'm gonna do gate. Let's do right here. Oh, house upgrade's done. Did you choose JoJo or the other way? Yeah, I chose the JoJo way. All I have left is the 3 apples. I already have 2 apples. I am waiting on the very last apple. Oh goodness, now I have to reorganize my house. The other way makes the game too hard. For nothing. Yeah, all it is the other way is just, oh, you know, you're collecting money to buy crops or whatever. But with the other way, nope, instead of collecting money for crops, now you have to just give all your money to them. Which I do think is a bit ridiculous, and why I don't think a lot of people choose that way for that reason. Let's put this guy in the corner. And then you right here. There we go. Just YouTubers? Yeah, that does sound a bit right. Thanks for the parsnip, Caroline. You know, they do it for the views. I gotta go talk to Robin, have this moved. Thanks for the follow. I gotta go talk to Robin, have that moved over. And then I gotta see what it's gonna take to she's not open yet. I gotta see what it's gonna take to upgrade my house again so I have the cellar. Let's go give this iridium ore. Iridium bar to the wizard. I also need to set up lobster traps. If I see you again another time. Yeah, thanks for the follow. And I usually stream. Yeah, Thursday nights will probably be the best because I stream at about 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 9 to 10 Pacific Standard. I don't know what that will be for you because I don't know what time zone you're in. But considering, you know, you're on the other side of the world, it will probably be the best for you to see. I just need a lot of stone. I need to continue this everywhere. Yeah, see you later. Thanks for stopping by and chatting. Nice to meet you too. You can add a cellar for 100,000. So many additions. Thank you. I need to go through and I just need to make paths. I got the path leaving my house, but I need to continue.